For centuries, Sparta had stood as the most feared military power in Greece. Its hoplites, trained from birth in the brutal Agog system, seemed invincible. From Thermopylae to countless smaller clashes, the Spartan phalanx inspired terror in its enemies. Yet in 371 BC, on the fields of Boeotia, Sparta's dominance would be shattered forever at the Battle of Leuctra. The seeds of the conflict lay in the rivalry between Sparta and Thebes. After the Peloponnesian War, Sparta emerged as the leading Greek power, enforcing its will across the Hellenic world. But the Thebans resented Spartan interference in their politics and sought to assert independence. Tensions reached a boiling point when Sparta intervened to support pro-Spartan factions in Thebes. The Theban leader, Epaminondas, a brilliant general and statesman, refused to bow to Spartan pressure. When the Spartan king Cleombrotus marched north with a massive army, Thebes decided to stand and fight, though outnumbered. The stage was set for a showdown that would change Greek history. The Spartan army was formidable. Some 10,000 hoplites, including 700 of the elite Spartiates, the full-blooded citizens of Sparta. They marched in confidence, certain that their reputation alone would cow the Thebans. Opposing them stood around 6,000 Theban and allied hoplites, fewer in number but led by a commander who dared to innovate. Epaminondas devised a radical tactic that defied the conventions of Greek warfare. Instead of evenly distributing his hoplites, he concentrated his best troops, the sacred band and the strongest Theban units, on his left flank. Here he stacked them 50 ranks deep, creating a massive spearhead aimed directly at the Spartan right, where the Spartiates stood. This strategy was bold and dangerous. If the weaker Theban right collapsed before the Spartans could be crushed, the entire army could be encircled. But Epaminondas trusted in discipline, surprise, and the quality of his sacred band. His plan was nothing less than to strike at the very heart of Sparta's strength. On the morning of the battle, the fields of Leuctra were alive with tension. Spartan shields gleamed in the sun, their crimson cloaks flowing, their reputation weighing heavily on the minds of the Theban soldiers. Yet the sacred band, 300 elite warriors bound by loyalty and brotherhood, stood calm and resolute. The two armies advanced, the ground shaking with the thunder of bronze-shod feet. But instead of a symmetrical clash, the Theban left surged forward in a massive wedge, catching the Spartans off guard. Cleombrotus himself was at the front, commanding the right wing of his army. The Theban spearhead drove into the Spartan line with shocking force. Spears shattered, shields clashed, and the air filled with cries of men locked in deadly combat. The sheer weight of 50 ranks pressing forward overwhelmed the Spartan phalanx. For the first time in memory, the Spartiates began to give ground. King Cleombrotus fell in the fighting, struck down amid the chaos. His death sent shock waves through the Spartan ranks, sowing confusion and despair. The Thebans pressed harder, their confidence rising with every step. On the Spartan left and center, the fighting was more balanced, but the collapse of their elite right wing spelled disaster. As the Spartiates fell or fled, the rest of the army began to waver. The unthinkable was happening. The invincible Spartans were being defeated in open battle. By midday, the outcome was clear. The Spartan army broke, retreating in disarray, leaving the field to the triumphant Thebans. The sacred band stood bloodied but unbroken, having achieved a victory for the ages. The cost to Sparta was devastating. 400 Spartiates, nearly a third of their citizen population, lay dead at Leuctra. This loss was irreplaceable, for Sparta's rigid social system allowed only a small number of full citizens. The defeat crippled Spartan power forever. Epaminondas had accomplished what no Greek general had dared. He had smashed the myth of Spartan invincibility. His tactical genius would be studied for centuries, inspiring commanders from Philip II of Macedon to Napoleon. Thebes, for a brief moment, rose to supremacy in Greece. For Sparta, Leuctra marked the beginning of the end. Though the city would fight on in future wars, it would never again dominate the Hellenic world. The battlefield of Leuctra remains a reminder that even the mightiest empires can fall in a single day. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and leave a comment.